Okay, so I'd like to welcome Chant Singvongsa to the show. Hey, Chant, how's it going?
Good, good, good. How about you there?
I'm doing really, really good. Really excited to have you on the podcast. It's been a minute trying to organize this with the snow removal and stuff that you do. It's always unpredictable.
Right.
So awesome to sit down and finally have it worked out.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Well, my name's Chant Singvongsa, and I live in Jackson, Minnesota here. And we own a lawn care, landscaping, snow removal business. And we also have an embroidery business. And yeah.
Awesome. So you've been one of my favorite YouTubers to follow because you remind me a lot of myself in the fact that you are a true entrepreneur at heart. Like you have so many fantastic ideas and business pursuits that you go after. I just want to sort of go through a list of things that
Okay.
I've seen. So you have and some of these you may not do anymore, but you've had
Right.
a photography business.
Yep.
You owned and ran the laundromat.
Oh, yeah.
You had a phone repair business.
Yeah.
You're doing photography, and you have now a embroidery business. And
Yes.
then there's the lawn care and landscaping and snow removal and
Correct.
all of that. So how do you find time to manage all of that, and maybe take us through how your entrepreneurial journey started? What
Okay.
got you, into it in the first place? What made you want to start
Right.
your own business?
Okay. So I think it was 2006, 2007 when I actually we bought a house. We bought
Okay.
our first home. Amy and I. Amy's my wife, and we bought our first home, and we were first time home owners or buyers. And I didn't know anything about mowing lawns or anything, man.
Mm-hmm.
We just got a house, and I knew that we had to cut the lawn, keep the lawn, cut and stuff like that. And so I bought a lawnmower, from Sears.
Yeah.
We were, I mean, at that time we barely could get by just paying the house, because
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was difficult. We were just starting out and we were young, and we bought the Craftsman's push mower from Sears,
Mm-hmm.
and I took a credit card out to buy a $250
Wow.
push mower because I couldn't afford it at that
Mm-hmm.
time. We were just strapped. And so I did that, and I said, man, I got to figure out how to pay for this push mower, right? And I was working a full-time job already at a
Mm-hmm.
factory. And so I went knocking around the neighborhood, a few doors,
Yeah.
and I think I knocked on at least 18, 20 doors and asking them if I could, if they needed somebody to mow their lawn, take care of their yard. And one house out of that 18 or 20 houses gave me a weekly mowing. And I didn't
Oh,
know nothing about weekly mowing or anything, or mowing and stuff like that. So all I knew is I know how to push mower and we'll get it cut. So it's the lawn care landscaping business started just from that,
okay.
point. And so I found out I could make money with people who were going to pay me to mow lawns um, and get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it started from that,
Okay.
and I was still working full time at my factory job, and yeah, it just suddenly took off,
Mm-hmm.
the lawn care part of it, you know.
Okay. So
So
you were doing that obviously on your own as a single owner operator
yes,
to
yep.
start out. So was it sort of a gradual thing for you, like looking at this and going like this could actually, you're still working at a factory job, but you're like this could actually
Mhm.
be something real, like that I could do on
Yeah.
my own. Was there like a light bulb moment for you in that
Oh
respect,
yeah.
or was it
So
just a gradual?
I think there's a light bulb, because I mean, when I was working in the factory, all I knew was, you're getting paid hourly, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you just counted on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that people would spend money to pay you to do things that I'd want pay. Like, it was hard for me to pay somebody to mow my lawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking my the way I was thinking was different from I was looking at it as a consumer
Yeah, yeah,
part of it, and I wasn't actually looking at it as a business.
yeah, yeah.
And so I had to shift my thinking.
Yes.
And so slowly my thinking started to shift to become a business person, entrepreneur instead of
Hmm.
a consumer, like the consumer
Yeah, yeah.
part of things. And so once I figured, okay, if somebody's going to pay me $35 I started at $35
Yeah.
to mow a lawn, man, if I can get 10 of them, that's $350,
Hmm.
right? And I said, that's half of what I was making at the factory, a week.
Yeah, yeah,
And I said, okay, if I can get 20, maybe I can quit my job,
yeah,
or
yeah.
30, whatever. And so I did. And that's when I said, there's more opportunities out there than where I was working at.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. That employee mindset, or
Yep.
that you're kind of stuck in when you're first starting out. It's funny being in business now. For the 15 years that I've been in business, and previous to that, trying other businesses and stuff, as
Mm-hmm.
I sort of mentioned, I can spot it now, like seeing
Right.
other people, and you can see, oh, that person has a employee mindset. I remember last
Right.
year, I was traveling in the U.S. with my wife. We were driving, and a rock hit the windshield. And
Mm-hmm.
so I from the US, I was calling because I knew I was going to be back in Canada the next day. But then we would be on a road trip again the following day after that. So I was calling ahead and trying to book some places to fix the windshield,
Right.
and was like basically giving them a heads up, like, can you bring a windshield in and
Mm-hmm.
have it ready? And I could spot that employee mindset right away with the first place I
Yep.
called. They're like, no, we can't do that. You have to come in. We have to see. I'm like, I'm telling you what type
Mm-hmm.
of car it is. I'm
Yeah.
telling you the everything you need to know. Just order the
Mm-hmm.
windshield. I'll be there. You guys. And she's like, no, it can't do it. And I was like,
Right.
employee mindset. I called the
Employee. Oh,
next
yeah.
place, and they're like, absolutely, we can do that. We'll have it
Mm-hmm.
ready for you. Here's your appointment and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like what a difference just that shift
Right.
in thinking. So that
Oh,
leads
yeah.
me to the next question. And that is one of my favorite questions, because when I ask somebody who is an employee that is a 9 to 5 type job worker,
Mm-hmm.
they always seem to have the same answer to this. But when I ask a business owner, the answers are always different.
Right.
And that is, how would you define success?
How would I define success? Man, it's never ending, man. I think
Mhm.
it's like it doesn't end. There's no, we have goals,
Yep.
but it seems like every time I reach a goal or any type of people call it success, it's not that I'm not happy
Hmm.
where I'm at or whatever. It's the challenge. I
Hmm.
think that's what keeps me going and keeps me fired.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, I've reached the goals. I said, man, one day I'd love to have a nice truck. I get that truck. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
still reaching. It's always a step. You're always trying to reach that, whatever it is,
Hmm.
satisfaction or whatever. Um, there's no ending. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
My success is until I die, I'm still gonna keep reaching for different goals.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
and
I think part of that goes back to that mindset shift. Is
hmm
that when you're in that employee mindset, you only see, like you said, that hourly rate that you depend on.
hmm
But when you're get out of that and you start to see the possibilities, at first it can seem overwhelming. But
hmm
then when you attain that level, then it opens up a whole new level
yeah,
of what's possible.
what's
Eh,
possible. You're always thinking what's possible
yeah.
because okay, if I can quit my full-time job and make more,
Hmm.
and it just every year you can keep increasing, and opportunities endless.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that's just part of the business,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that it doesn't end.
Hmm. Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. I was talking to you earlier about scheduling this interview, and
hmm
talking about some challenges I had with trying to get my son. He's playing soccer and stuff like that.
hmm
And you brought up what you were saying there. Um, One of the things, him being a footballer, a soccer player, is he loves, his favorite player is Cristiano Ronaldo of the
Okay.
Portuguese national team.
hmm
And I was watching a documentary on him, and his agent was talking and saying, this is Ronaldo who just signed like a $1 billion lifetime
Right.
contract with Nike and stuff like that. And his agent says, if there's one thing I've learned is that anything is possible.
Oh yeah.
Don't like deny yourself. Don't get into that thinking. Anything is possible. Who would have thought a $1 billion lifetime? Like, it's like nobody's done it before. So you would think, that's not possible. Like the thing, but it's like anything is possible. Just put your mind to it and go from there. So with the lawn care business, what was your transition to, like, what was the next business that sort of opened the possibilities for you?
Right. So then the lawn care business, it went from lawn care, and then suddenly we were outgrowing our house, right? I started all this in a house, and we didn't have a garage, and I had a 10 by 12 shed. And I realized that this business, this lawn care landscaping, is going somewhere. And so we needed a shop, or I needed a shop, and just a place where we can store our equipment.
Okay.
And still my wife and I, we were struggling. It was just my wife and I at that time. And there was a laundromat here in Jackson.
Okay.
That was up for sale. And I was reading the papers. At that time, there wasn't much, Facebook or anything. We were just looking through paper. And so I looked at the papers, weekly paper, and I saw a laundromat for sale. I said, and there was a garage. I didn't care about the laundromat. I did not want anything to do with the laundromat. I don't like to do my laundry in the first place, right? My wife does that stuff, And so I was like, I don't want the laundromat. And so I called up the realtor. I said, hey, are they willing to part just the shed? I want the shed next to it. And no, you have to buy the whole thing. And we were literally living paycheck to paycheck and not having any, and I was still working at the factory at that time and doing lawn care and landscaping. And Amy says, my wife says, how are we gonna pay for that? Or who's gonna give us the money? We don't even have anything in the savings. I said, I don't know, but I'm gonna figure this out. So I went to the realtor. I said, I want to see the numbers. He goes, well, you can't see the number until you give me earnest money. $500. So we know you're serious. I said, okay. I said, okay, this is my last $500. I'm going to take it. And I want to see these numbers and what it's doing. I looked at the numbers, and then I went to the bank. I had $200 in the savings at that time when I went to see our loan officer, and the loan officer says, we can see what we can do for you, but we can finance 70%, but you're gonna have to come 30%. And this is like $150,000 laundromat. And that's a big number, man. That's a big number when you're coming from a place where the employee mindset, it's huge, man. It's mind-boggling. And so I didn't care. I just wanted this shop. And so I went in there, and then he left me at that. He says, you need 30%. And I was like, oh man, how am I going to find this? And so I went back to him. I said, is there any kind of business loans or anything, that helps guys like us to start somewhere? Then he redirected me to another business loan. It's a rural, we're in a small community, and it's called Swift Foundation. And they help small business startups and stuff like that. So we were able to finance everything 100%.
Oh, wow.
I got my start. I mean, the interest was higher, but I didn't care at that time. I had nothing to lose, and you got to start somewhere. So that's when I learned how to finance and how to negotiate and how to work out deals without having anything.
Yeah, that's
amazing. And I wasn't scared of the money because I don't care. I said, before I'd started all this business and stuff, I've been down in a place where it's dark and I didn't have anything, and I was struggling myself, like or mentally, struggle with drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. And I said, there's no other place worse than where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is just income. This is money. I got my health. I got my wife at that time. And I said, we're just starting to rebuild our life.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so when those numbers came, I said, I don't care if I got to borrow 10 years, 15.
Mm-hmm.
I go, we're only 21 at this time. I said, I'm going to borrow now before I get 60, 70,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So we did that. We made it work. And that's when we owned the laundromat. It was in 2010. And
Okay.
I was in 2007, I started the business, or I did landscape lawn care. Like, you know, it wasn't
Yeah,
a real business yet.
yeah, yeah.
You were just doing it. And then 2009, I officially got licensed and got our business and up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, 2009, we got that running. And then that's 2010, we bought a year later, we bought a laundromat. And now I got to figure out how to run a laundromat, man. I got to collect coins. And so every day after landscaping, I was running in and out of this shop,
Mm-hmm.
closing. And it was nonstop. It was for 9 years, we had the laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we turned it into the embroidery.
Yeah, yeah.
But before that, we had an office here, which I'm sitting in right now.
Okay.
Everything starts with the problem, everything that I've started, just
Mm-hmm.
like the photography. I couldn't afford to go to a professional because we had kids. We started having kids, and I
Yeah, yeah.
wanted pictures of our kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I can't. Yes, I can take pictures, but they're not that great quality,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. And so we'd spend $200-300 to go to a professional photographer for our first child. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go buy a camera. Okay. I spent $600. I went to Walmart, spent $600, bought a DSLR, Canon DSLR
Mm-hmm.
T3i, and why not pay myself do it, right? So I
Yeah, yeah.
did. I went to buy it. I said, that's an investment. I'm always thinking about the investment side of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I go, because I started with the lawnmower. I said, I figured a way how to pay for that lawnmower because
Mm-hmm.
we had a problem of cutting grass, and said, I'd do the same thing with the kids' picture. So I went to
Yeah, yeah.
buy that. Next thing you know, I became obsessed learning how to shoot and become a photographer.
Okay, yeah.
So then that camera, I started the photography business with that camera. It wasn't no high-end camera, but I made thousands of dollars using that camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then after making money from that camera, I reinvested in other equipment
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
business,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely amazing story.
So,
It reminds me of a saying from somebody that says, you know, you talked about your coming from a dark place and drugs and
mhm.
things like that. And I think the saying is, you know, when life knocks you on your back, at least you're pointed in the right direction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, there's
You're
only one way.
forced.
Yeah,
You're
there's only
forced
one
to
way to
do
go
one.
from
Yeah.
there, right? You go
Oh,
up.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So just absolutely awesome and inspiring. And what a blessing that laundromat turned out
Yeah.
to be in
I
the
know.
end, and having that location, and
Hmm.
you know, because it's afforded you the opportunities to do so many other
Right.
things with that location.
Hmm.
So you had this like trial by fire, learning the whole laundromat
Yeah.
business, and then you start doing things like phone repairs and stuff. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, you're seeing these opportunities as you go. And your story there with the photography, it just reminded me again, like I said, so much of just that
Hmm.
employer business owner mindset that
Right.
I share with you. I talked about a story recently on the podcast with somebody else about having a problem with my
Hmm.
wife's car at the time, and you know, her muffler had a hole in it, so it was making
Right.
a bunch of noise. And I went to a muffler shop, but the muffler was like in perfect condition. It just had this hole in it, and I
Hmm.
was like, "Can you guys just, like, you know, put a couple of welds on that and clean?" And they're like,
Right.
"No, we got to take it off and put a new muffler and stuff." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, it's like a
Right.
perfectly good muffler. It's got this." So instead of thing, my mindset was like, how can I turn this $300 that they want for a new muffler
Hmm.
into an investment, right? So I was like,
Right.
well, let me look. Well, look at this little welder. I can buy this welder for $200. I'll
Hmm.
just do it myself, right?
Right.
And that just sparked a whole new uh, passion and stuff of like building, and it's
Yeah.
worked with the business and repairing stuff and
Yep.
building things for my trailer and stuff like that,
Mhm.
having those welding skills and all that
Oh
stuff. So
yeah.
that mindset just going like, how can I take this problem that I have and
Yep.
make it into something that's more beneficial to me than just a one-time payment
Right.
to get
Oh
this
yeah.
done.
Yeah,
So
it's just like with the phone repair too. I mean, in the lawn care and landscaping business, I would go through 3, 4 phones breaking them, right?
mhm.
And you only get 3 times to three claims,
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah.
Through Verizon, and I'd go through these claims, and finally that's when it forced me to fix my own phone. We were fixing the phone in my brother's garage,
Okay.
and I said, you know what? I can't be the only guy who has this problem.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm going to start this phone repair business. So we in 3 months, I got the phone business up and running, uh, got everything legit, found suppliers, vendors, and all this, and set up POS systems and stuff. And we, for 4 years, we ran that.
Oh, okay.
And, people would call us up and, during the day, schedule, we'd
Mm-hmm.
fix it,
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
around, make a few $100 on the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's funny how you're always in tune to that, but it can also be uh, a distraction sometimes. Because,
Right.
like this past weekend, my elderly parents called me and they're like, "Our TV stopped working," and I'm like,
Hmm.
"I went and I bought this TV with them about 5 years ago,
Right.
flat screen TV and stuff." And so I went there and I go to look at it, and there's sound coming out of the TV, but there's no picture. And I do a quick search, and people are saying, shine a light on the screen and see if you can see the.
Right.
So I shine a light, and I can see that the images are there, but it's just not lighting up.
Right.
So we ended up buying another TV for them because my dad's got some dementia and stuff, and he can't
Hmm.
he needs the TV to stay
Right.
focused stuff, right? But then I was like, what a way! Like I'm about to load this 50-inch flat screen TV to take to the dump, and I'm like, what
Mm.
a waste. Like this thing
Right.
still see. So I do like this search and find out that it's like the LEDs are burnt out,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
one or two of them are burnt out, because apparently they're like a Christmas tree where if one
Yeah.
goes out, the whole thing shuts off. So then I found this whole other side of people repairing them and stuff, and going, wow, like this is something, this is like a business you could do. All these people are like, I see all the time people leaving TVs on the roadside because
Yeah.
they're it's probably similar problems to that.
Mhm.
And things like, wow, this could be a business for somebody
Right.
just doing these quick but that's that mindset, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like squirrel, like you're always
Yeah.
looking you see all these opportunities that
Opportunities.
you're
Right.
like, wow, like you could actually turn that
Yeah.
into a business. But it's like, okay, stay
Yeah.
focused, stay
But yeah,
focused.
that's. I mean, we had about 5. I've had like 5 businesses all at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken us this long, 10 years into the lawn care business to figure out what's working.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I tried a lot of things along the way, but finally it's dialed down to my lawn care, landscaping, snow removal, and my embroidery,
yeah, yeah,
and daily hustle, the YouTube channel
yeah,
stuff. That's it. I used, like you said, it can be a distraction. I used
yeah,
to
yeah,
run around like a frick chicken with the head cut off.
yeah,
You're pulled everywhere. And
yeah, yeah,
now we're finally, not to say we're comfortable or anything. It's just, it's a we've tried everything,
yeah,
and finally now you're getting to see what works and what doesn't,
yeah, yeah.
and just eliminating the stuff that's
Yeah, the
just
stuff that don't.
distracting.
Yeah, the stuff that
Hmm.
doesn't, stuff that you have to work
Yeah.
harder at. Like with my lawn care business,
Mm.
um, I'm a solo owner operator. It's the way I like it.
Yep.
But I'm at a point with the branding and all that stuff that
Yeah.
I don't even do any advertising. Like
Hmm.
the season's coming up to start and stuff, and I don't even think about it. It's like
Yeah.
it starts. I'm going to start mowing all my lawns. Like my
Yep.
customers know I'm coming.
Hmm.
I'm getting calls organically from
Yep.
people wanting quotes and stuff. It's like I don't even bother advertising more
Yeah.
because I've over the years honed it in and
Hmm.
found out what works.
Yep.
So yeah, you start to focus in on that, and you get better at
Hmm.
putting those blinders on. Even though you see those, you get a momentary shot of adrenaline when you see that
Right.
opportunity of, oh, I could do something
Hmm.
here. It's like, okay, stay focused,
Yeah.
right? It's like, this is
Definitely.
working already, so let's
Mm.
not do anything that's gonna harm
Right.
that
Hmm.
by getting yourself away from that sort of stuff.
Definitely.
um, so you talked there about um, the Daily Hustle
Hmm.
YouTube channel. So obviously that's where most people have discovered you and found you
Correct.
and know your story. So what got you, and I can sort of understand the transition because you were into the photography and you had the
Hmm.
camera and
Yep.
that. So how did you decide, or what made you want to go and start like a not only a YouTube channel, but it was like daily vlogging
Right.
that you were
Well,
doing?
at that time, Casey Neistat he was hot on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So, and I found that YouTube, there was a point in my business, my landscaping business, where I got bored and I got stagnant.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we were making money and stuff, but I found out that if I'm not sharing or like putting stuff like what I do out there,
Hmm.
I don't get excited. Like I
Yeah. Yeah.
don't, it's not fulfilling. Cause
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like, why have all the success and not be able to share it, right?
Hmm.
And so I was finding myself, I was about literally to quit landscaping and lawn care before I found YouTube. And once I found YouTube, the community and what everybody was doing, I was watching everybody else too. And I said, hey man, I'm going to do a daily vlog just to document my life, my
Hmm.
journey. I said, I didn't know anything about getting paid on YouTube or any stuff like that, or
Yeah. Yeah.
sponsorship and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That was on the last thing on my mind. And I was just recording my kids and my family at that time, man. And from that point, it just put me out there where everybody else can see.
Hmm.
Like I didn't realize that you were gonna get people watching and stuff. Who's gonna watch me mow, right? Push a mower and watch me mow.
Yeah.
But there's people out there. I mean, I do that myself.
Hmm.
And suddenly, yeah, it just started off of that. And it grew. It just kept growing. I mean, I was daily vlogging for 2 years and we only had like 100 some subscribers for two
Hmm.
years. And we had 100 views, maybe 100, 200 views on the videos. And I was still vlogging because I didn't care
Mm.
of how many views or whatever. I was documenting. I wanted to see, where this is going to take me
Yeah. Yeah.
from the time I recorded. And
Yeah.
suddenly 2 years later, it took off. I mean, it's nothing big or anything. It took off, but it grew into a business.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
suddenly I created Chant's Daily Hustle. So
Mm.
that became a name.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. Opened
so
up some more opportunities for you.
opportunities. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So it
Yeah.
must have been, because I'm going through that right now too. Most people know me from the podcast. I've been doing YouTube
Mhm.
videos and stuff as well, but still a struggle on that side of it.
Yep.
And you go through these dips and valleys of like, why am I
Oh
doing
yeah.
this? Why is
The
this?
emotions are
Yeah,
oh man,
you're
it's
always
it's
beating
up and
yourself
down. Oh
up
yeah.
and stuff, right? And you get so preoccupied sometimes looking at analytics and stuff.
Hmm.
And I find that
You lose
when I
focus on doing.
when I focus, if I focus on the analytics, it drives me nuts and
Oh
you
yeah.
get so stressed out. And it's like
Mhm.
you notice every single person that, or every time somebody like that number dips down by
Yeah.
one or something like that, right? Whereas if I forget about it and
Just
just make
do
the
it.
videos,
Yeah.
then it's like on a daily basis, it's like, oh, this is new subscriber, new subscriber, new subscriber.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not even paying attention to it. And it's like, wow, it seems to be growing more
Hmm.
organically when I'm not worried
Right.
about it.
And it's more
Then
enjoyable,
yeah,
to do.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
So, were there any lessons that you learned about yourself doing a daily vlog and
Oh yeah.
sharing that much, putting yourself that? Because I remember watching
Hmm.
lots of them, and I was like this is so cool. Like I remember ones you were doing with your brother. You guys, he was building some ice fishing
Yep.
powered cart and stuff, and you
Mm.
guys were obviously have a love for fishing because you guys
Yeah.
that seemed to be a theme that kind of popped up
Right.
a bit in the videos and stuff. So it was neat, like seeing that whole range.
Hmm.
So did you learn anything about yourself doing a daily vlog?
Yeah. That what's neat about the daily vlog was that it personally it helped me really not to be arrogant or anything, but become more a little confident, right, in
Okay,
myself
yeah,
and the way I talked. Because when I started, you've got to look at yourself when you edit, and every day, right? You got
yeah,
to look
yeah,
at yourself, and it's
yeah,
it's weird. It's weird when you do those things because
yeah,
it you think you sound weird, you think you stutter, you think
yeah, yeah.
all these things, right? And what helped me personally is that when I start vlogging and when I start putting stuff out on YouTube, it doesn't matter anymore
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what I think about like how I talk or how I do
Hmm.
things. it builds I don't know what it does, but it builds that confidence in
Mm-hmm.
you to just be okay with yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because man, growing up, as a kid, I struggle a lot with being around people.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't get me, like we do booth meetup and stuff at the GIE. You couldn't get me around hundreds of people,
Yeah,
you know, back then. But YouTube just opens up that door of, okay, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
now it's okay to talk to people. Now
yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay to network. Now it's okay to put myself out there, because I'm not the only one going through what I go through
yeah, yeah.
today. And so I do become transparent a lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, I mean, in the small town of 3,200 people, um, I'm very transparent, and
Yeah, yeah.
everybody knows everybody. But I found out it's helped me more when I'm transparent.
Okay.
It's helped me in every way,
Okay.
personally, business wise,
Okay.
and everything else. It's because I don't know. Is it being vulnerable?
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
put it out there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and people can relate, and people, they're there to support you and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And it's not, I put stuff out there just because I know it's like therapy, man. YouTube's like therapy to me.
Okay.
And it's like, that's where I vent, that's
Yeah,
where
yeah,
I
yeah.
do, stuff,
You
because sometimes, you just don't have them, you know when you want, because you don't have those much entrepreneur friends, right?
yeah,
So
yes.
YouTube is a community where you can talk to people
Okay.
and connect with other
Yeah, yeah,
business owners,
yeah.
so
So yeah, that's.
no.
I felt like you were talking straight at me there because
Hmm.
I'm very much introverted,
Yeah.
like like crazily introverted, and it's what led me to basically, in the beginning, doing the podcast and stuff. It was easier because it was like I love
Hmm.
podcasts. I'd love to do a podcast, and at least nobody can see me, right? It's like
Right.
all audio and stuff in the beginning, and then that I started to do more of the YouTube and stuff as well. And I love events like that GIE or
Hmm.
going working with Echo and going out to their
Yeah.
facility because I'm to me at those times when I'm in those other cities, I'm like nobody. Like I don't care if people see me holding a
Right.
camera. I'm walking
Yeah.
through the airports like Casey and I and staff with the camera
Yep.
and the mic. I'm like, I don't care. These people are
Hmm.
never gonna see me again.
Hmm.
And whereas at home, I'm still very
Right.
shy about it. To the point, and I've talked about
Yeah.
this on the podcast as well, at times where most of my family, like my brother and sister,
Hmm.
even after 5 years, have no idea that I have a podcast. I have
Oh,
no
okay.
idea that I have a YouTube channel or anything. But it's
Right.
funny because it's friends are starting to find it.
Hmm.
So my wife she'll be sitting on the couch and then she'll get a message from somebody going, hey, like I just found Julio's YouTube channel. Like I was
Right.
searching like how to, take care of this plant and his videos popped up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shoot. So I'm still at that point where I'm still not comfortable
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
in the beginning it was because you grow up with that mindset of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
surrounded by those people that are
Hmm.
working, right? And it's like you don't want to be, and it's just like, oh, he's tried so many businesses,
Yep.
he's always chasing something, right?
Yeah.
And this
Hmm.
is just another thing, right?
Yep.
And it's like now though I'm starting to get to that point because I feel like, oh, I've been doing it for 5 years and look, I've
Hmm.
got some sponsors now and things like that, so it's
Hmm.
kind of proving it to myself that
Right.
yes, this, but it's still funny because it's like I don't really want to
Right. I
tell
mean,
people
the
tell people
the
about.
the neat part is that, I mean, like I said, in this 3,200 population town that we live in, I mean, our trucks is all,
Yeah.
you can't miss us here.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
I've definitely gotten to the point where I, like you said, I don't care anymore.
Hmm.
Like because I know what's been coming out of this,
Yeah. Yeah.
out of what we've been doing. Like you said, holding the camera in front of the face, um, and doing that in public around here. I do that, but like I still do like to stay within myself and my community. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? There's When it comes to YouTube and stuff, there's only certain people that will understand this stuff, right?
Yeah.
What our goal and what we're trying to achieve here.
Hmm.
But out in the public eye, uh, they're gonna, yeah, it's crazy. They're gonna
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
we're crazy. What is he doing with that big camera, and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And this YouTube thing, it's like your brand. You're
Yeah, yeah,
selling yourself. You're definitely selling yourself every day.
yeah, yeah,
And it's amazing, man. It's amazing. I wish YouTube could be full time for me. I
yeah,
wish
yeah,
I could, man. But without everything else that we're doing right now, nothing. All of this flows together.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it all works together.
all works
Yeah,
together.
it's very cool. Yeah, yours, you're like very, because like that's really taking it. Like your trucks, like you
Mhm.
said, they got the big YouTube logo
Yeah,
on them and stuff, right? So there's no
it's
holding
going
back,
all
especially.
in. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
going all in on it because
yeah.
people laughed at me when we had that daily hustle on our dump truck. When I
Okay.
first did that, because I believed in the brand so much, like nobody understood it. But
Yeah, yeah.
for me, I believed it. I put that on. I go, am I not putting my brand out there when I have these opportunities?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm doing YouTube, people are going to find me somehow. My customer's going to find me somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and like landscaping and stuff, my customer's going to see me.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a chance to be myself and be that person on YouTube. And I found out that like my landscaping clients, they watch me on YouTube. Well, before I even work with them,
Yeah, yeah.
they already know me
Mm-hmm.
from YouTube, and I don't even know them. So
Yeah, yeah.
they get a chance to see how you actually run a business and do a business,
Yeah, yeah.
and that dictates if they want to work with you or a different landscaper.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's so funny the reach of
yeah.
what YouTube, because like last year I had a client who was he was actually a parent on one of my daughter's past soccer teams from years ago.
Hmm.
And he was doing a YouTube search for something, and one of my
Yeah.
videos came up.
Right.
And that's what led him to hire me, because he's like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
Julio. It wasn't anything like, oh, like what's he doing and stuff like that. It was,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he has a lawn care business. I totally forgot.
Hmm.
Like, that's I'll
Hmm.
call him, because obviously he knows what he's talking about and sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
so he called me, and I started doing his lawn on a weekly basis. And it's funny, one like about mid-season, I'm mowing his lawn, his front lawn, and I hear my name being yelled out from across the street. And some guy's coming out of his house. Some guy, I don't even know this guy. And he's
Right.
coming, and he recognized my truck and trailer from YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I watch your videos. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the heck?
I
Like,
know
what
it's
the?
weird.
Yeah, it's just,
It's still weird to me today. You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's to have the same thing you do.
Yeah, it's just very, very
It's
strange. But
it's
yours is on a bigger level. I've only had it a few times, but I can't
yeah.
imagine what guys like you and Brian and all those other,
Mhm.
more popular
Ju-
YouTubers go through. It's just like, oh, that's just
we're
insane.
just ourselves. We just ourselves, and we just go about it, and everything's strictly that's our brand.
Yeah, yeah.
Brand and business.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. That's
Yeah.
awesome. At GIE, this was where I met you in person this
Hmm.
past year, 2019. That was my first GIE experience.
Okay.
And it was because of guys like you putting out on
Hmm.
social media. I didn't even know GIE existed.
Right.
And until the YouTuber guys were showing. And one of my to do bucket list things was, I gotta
Right.
get in the daily hustle photo. I gotta do that part. That was like the one thing I had to, like, on the checklist. Other
Yeah.
things I had on the checklist that kind of went sideways, didn't get to, but it was like, I got
Hmm.
to do the photo. The photo is
Yeah.
one thing I got
Appreciate it.
I got to do. And it was huge this year. You had
Yeah.
both trucks
Yeah.
out there. It was a
Yeah.
huge crowd. Um,
Yeah.
so talk a little bit about that, because I remember, the seeing those very first ones, and it was just a small
Yeah.
little group
Yep.
in the parking lot, and now it's
Hmm.
almost like a parking lot, like full
Yeah.
takeover in that half, right?
I mean, it's grown over the years, and it was one of those things. It started out well. It was a parking lot meetup.
Yeah,
Naylor from Lawn Care Rookie and stuff. They had and stuff.
yeah,
I was like, I want to take pictures every year, of everybody, and just have a community where we can document these things, the growth of everybody.
yeah.
And so we started out my first year at GIE. I think it was 2017.
Okay.
17 or 18. I went there, and I wasn't expecting, I just was expecting just go look at mowers, and look at
Mm-hmm.
and network a little. And like you said, that YouTube platform, I we didn't even get into the part where you get the tickets or show, it's
Okay.
give people the tickets. And we were getting stopped. And it's weird because here we don't know anybody, but people know us. And I was like, what? I'd go, I'm spending more time talking to people than looking at machineries or anything. And so that first year, I was like, oh, you know, we met a few people and we talked, we networked, and you know, looked at a few machines. And then second year, it just got bigger to the point where now it's become like our schedule is packed. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said, your schedule gets, you've got to have a schedule when you go there, or else
Hmm.
you're just running around. And so, because there's so much there,
Yeah.
and so every year it got bigger and bigger, and then like we got sponsorship, from different vendors and stuff
Yep.
like that. And but our photo shoot always stayed the same time, same place. Last year it was packed.
Yeah, yeah.
We had to park on the side of the entrance or the driving part road. And so it grows every year,
Hmm.
and it's great. It's a great part of the community to be in, to
Yeah, yeah.
do.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's awesome to see
you know,
what you've been able to accomplish. Like you said, with
mm,
GIE and having some sponsors and things like that. I actually have my
mhm.
uh, daily hustle hat
Oh
right
yeah.
there in the background from the Jobber booth that
Yeah.
you were at, right beside my Jobber hat, right beside.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really really cool to see you going
Yeah.
around there. I remember. Um, going around trying to make my own connections as well
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the podcast and stuff. And I was
Hmm.
at the Cujo Yardware booth,
Yeah.
and I had been waiting to talk to him for a bit. Had never met him in person. We'd always
Hmm.
on email and stuff. So finally got a chance to meet him. And then you showed up with your entourage, and I was like, you know what? Those are the Daily Hustle guys. They're kind of a big deal. You better go talk to them first, and I'll come back later and and talk to you. I said, you don't want to keep them waiting. Just
Yeah.
he's like, oh, thanks. So, but it's so cool to see the impact that you've had in the
Yeah.
community. So you're working now with Bobcat
Hmm.
mowers
Yeah.
there, and
Bobcat mowers.
so what's it like? Like you're going there and you're seeing like your photo up in
Hmm.
on their
It's
displays
still
and
it's
stuff.
still weird to me, man. It's humbling, but it's weird. It's
Yeah,
weird. But I guess that's my, I guess, my, what you call it, what they say, 5 minutes of fame, or
yeah.
what,
15
it's
minutes
just,
of fame.
yeah, it's one of those things, I enjoy it. And before I got sponsored or like network with any of these people, right,
Yeah.
what helped me is that when I first bought the laundromat, the negotiation deal, sitting
Mhm.
in the rooms, talking about things that you don't want to talk about,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
ask about things that you don't want to ask,
Hmm.
those uncomfortable things that
Yeah, yeah.
I did in the beginning helped me with the Bobcat jobbers, or who else we got? Yeah, we just Bobcat and jobbers that we work with,
Yeah, yeah.
affiliate with right now. And you got to get straight to the meat and the potatoes.
Yeah,
It's a everything's business,
yeah, yeah.
but at the same time we give back to the community, we add
Hmm.
value, you
Yep.
know but it's those times, those hard times of being in the rooms of negotiating and talking about deals and contracts and stuff like that, that
Yeah, yeah.
helps a person with everything like that.
Yeah, yeah. So another cool thing that I noticed you doing on your channel was you were doing some cool like meet and greets at dealers.
Yeah.
So you're going around and having like a cool turnout. People were coming
Yeah.
to meet you at these
Mhm.
dealers and stuff. Obviously, just like GIE, where you have a lineup of
Yep.
people getting autographs and photos and stuff like
Oh yeah.
that as
So
well. So
every year we do the Bobcat tour, Bobcat
okay,
More tours. We go on the tour. I don't know where they're going to have me go this year. It's
okay,
around April, and maybe we'll be down south. Maybe we'll stick in the Midwest. I'm not
hmm,
sure yet, or the East. So we do that every year. Go on a tour, dealer tour, for Bobcat Mowers,
okay,
and meet people. Meet every our following, and
yeah, yeah.
connect with others.
Yeah, very, very cool. So
Mhm.
what would you say is a hidden pitfall with running a lawn care business that you see prevents people from succeeding?
A pitfall.
Yeah, like something that you see other people don't realize about a lawn care business, or something that holds them back because they think,
Hmm.
like everybody thinks, there's this
Yeah.
misconception that because a kid after school can take his
Hmm.
push mower and mow a lawn for $5, or
Yep.
for this, that it's an easy business to get into.
Hmm.
Obviously, you talked about taking 10 years to kind of hone in
Right.
on what really works, what
Hmm.
thing. So what's a hidden pitfall that you think prevents people from succeeding in this business?
Man, I don't know the answer to that, but
Okay.
I think one thing is that you always have to restructure your business as you
Okay.
grow, because at the time for me, when I was starting the business, I only knew what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you experience a little bit more, um, each individual just has to go through experience
Okay.
that hard part, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That hard part of um, lawn care, landscaping. And I watch other people's lawn care, landscaping on YouTube as
Yeah, yeah.
well. And it's hard for me to critique anybody or say anything about where they're at.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can see, like you said, if one advice I can give is that you have to know where you really want to go.
Okay.
Like for you, you want to be solo,
Yeah, yeah.
stay solo.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to grow into two people,
Yeah, yeah.
grow into two.
Yeah.
But you have to know where you really want, how you want to structure your
Yeah, yeah.
business when you get a little bit of years in,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
How
get to that.
how you can maximize that situation,
Maximize, yeah.
right?
Just say you're a solo guy, right? How can you make that bottom line grow bigger with less people, with less hours of you putting into that lawn care?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not that we're being greedy or selfish. It's how can we do this quicker? How
Yeah,
how
yeah.
can we do it?
Yeah, more efficient,
More
more,
efficient.
yeah, more
Yeah,
profitable with
profitable. Yeah, you
yeah,
just
with
have to.
less work, less expenses and stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I've done with mine, is just over years, route
Yeah.
density,
Yep.
picking the right, working in one targeted neighborhood instead of
Yep.
spreading myself out super
Hmm.
thin, picking clients that want hedges and things as
Yep.
well, because I'm already there, and it's
Yep.
easier to sell a
You can
customer that,
start you can start weeding out
yeah,
people or
the
customers that aren't
intro,
profitable or
yeah,
hard to work with.
yeah, yeah. And you
And
learn
so,
that over the years with
yeah.
because in the beginning people tend to take anything and everything
Yes.
they can do, and they
Hmm.
underbid because they just want the work and stuff.
Yep.
And it's understandable because you're coming
Hmm.
from that
Yeah. You're
employee
hungry.
mindset, and you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, I got to pay these
Right.
bills and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
But you learn and you gain that confidence
Yeah.
over the
Yeah.
years.
So
um,
no matter how big the business, no matter how many employees or how big your business is, it really, to me, it doesn't matter.
mhm.
What matters is that where you are at and where you want to be. You
Okay.
know, like like my landscaping lawn care here, we're always at like 4 people, right?
Hmm.
2 to 4 people. That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Do I want to grow it more? Um, I don't want to grow any more employees.
yeah.
You know, and I like the business shifts as I get older.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
So another really neat thing that I saw recently in your Instagram was you had a mentor come and
Mhm.
to your daily hustle store there,
Yep.
and this is somebody that you've mentioned that's helped you along the way,
Right.
and so maybe talk a bit about the importance of finding a mentor like that, because it must have been, each, you say, I think it was something about they come and visit every year,
Hmm.
and so it must be like, especially this year with your daily hustle store, the embroidery business,
Hmm.
sort of in full swing there. It must have been a proud moment for you to have this mentor come back and
Right.
see where you are now from,
Oh yeah,
where you've been. So
yeah.
maybe speak a bit about that.
Okay. So my mentor Roger Kaler, he took me in when I was going through my drug and alcohol situation.
Okay.
In 2004, I
Oh
was
wow.
struggling to quit drugs and alcohol, and so in 2004 we met. We met at it was called the Ashley House. It's a
Okay.
treatment center,
Okay.
and we met there at a picnic. And so he he was there because he was friends with the counselor,
Okay.
and he saw something in me that I did not see in myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so he asked if I was looking for work. Man, I didn't have nothing else to do because I didn't party, I didn't drink, so I didn't have any friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I at that time I was working full time at my factory job, and then a little bit of I wasn't there yet with the lawn care landscaping, but I was then at that time I was just, I don't know, lost and trying to find myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so he goes, come and work for me if you'd like. So I
Mm-hmm.
did. I didn't know what he did or what business.
Okay.
I said, okay, I'll do it because I don't have nothing else to do here besides
Mm-hmm.
work and go home. And so after my full-time job, after 5 o'clock every week, every day, I'd go out to his farm, and
Okay.
he did iron work,
Okay.
welding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so from 5 to 10 o'clock at night, every day through the whole week, I'd do that and go out there. And he not only gave me work, but he was teaching me a little bit about being a husband
Mm-hmm.
and just normal living, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was chaos
Yeah.
before I
Yeah.
met him. And so we there was times where he would pay me to go out to the garden and just pull carrots or harvest
Oh wow.
apple,
Yeah. Yeah.
pick up apples or something. I'm thinking, who's paying me X amount of dollars every like to do these things, right?
Yeah.
To do these simple odd end jobs around the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd sit down and have coffee. And when I look back at stuff like this, what he did was he gave me a reason to care for, like, taught me how to care for myself because
Oh.
I didn't know how to care for
Yeah.
myself
Yeah.
at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not being able to love or understand yourself. It
Mm-hmm.
was difficult, man. Somebody had to do that for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, there was moments we'd sit in his, I still remember it, from this day, that we'd sit in his house and just drink coffee and have cookies and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. And we didn't have kids at that time. And then one day he took me to an entrepreneur convention, right?
Oh, okay.
Like a whatchamacallit, like a meetup, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I went there and I didn't know how to dress. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm new to all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I went there with my baggy pants, right? With my white t-shirt and with my hat, and everybody was in suits.
Oh, okay.
I walk in there. He didn't say nothing to me about
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
should dress
Mm-hmm.
or if I'm not dressed right. He didn't judge me at all. That was
Mm-hmm.
one neat thing.
Mm-hmm.
We walk in there. He was comfortable with himself,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I wasn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I walk in there, everybody's in suits. I'm like, I felt out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to run out,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he kept me there.
Mm.
He introduced me to other people, shake other people's hands, and asked, network. That was the first I didn't understand about networking.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first time networking with people. And I didn't know that was networking.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought I
Yeah.
was just there to, learn about business,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And I walked out of there. I said, man, I go, those guys feel good about themselves. They look good. They feel good, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like crap.
Yeah.
And from that point, I worked for him for 3 years. And he made me clean like metal. Dude, the worst jobs. I think he tested me. He threw me down in this well out on the farm to clean it and scrub it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
dark and dingy, but I did it. I
Mm-hmm.
did it. And then I said, and then he would, like, we'd weld these stuff for church, like
Okay.
candle holders and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he'd say, Chant, take this candle this candle holder, go deliver it to a church, and
Mhm.
you got to talk to this guy. So he gave me directions and gave me stuff to do,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to do it. I was
Mhm.
uncomfortable. I'm
Mhm.
thinking, okay, what if I can't find the church? What if
Mhm.
this goes wrong? All this. Well, he sends me out, and I do it. I was like, wow, that's not bad.
Mhm.
So he gives me these jobs that I don't
Yeah.
like doing, and I did it. And so, and then he teaches me about business. He takes me out to show me how to talk to customers.
Mhm.
Like he's talking about money and stuff, he's constantly talking about negotiating deals with the customers, saying, okay, I'll do this railing for 2,000. Like it was
Yeah.
uncomfortable for me to talk about that stuff,
Mhm.
and getting turned down, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's selling the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he taught me those things. And then one day I finally, that 2007, I said, I want to start a business. He
Mhm.
goes, oh yeah? He goes, what? He goes, I go, oh, lawn care. I didn't know nothing about landscaping.
Yeah. Yeah.
He goes, why don't you do that? I said, really? I go, you're not going to get mad at me for leaving you?
Mhm.
He goes, no, Chant. He goes, if that's your dream and that's what you want to do, go for it. He
Mhm.
goes, if anything, you need anything from me, let me know. I said, really? Because back then, people would get mad at you because you left somewhere,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
your parents would tell you, you shouldn't do this, do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But when you have a mentor, they'll tell you, do it.
Yeah.
They'll say, you can do it.
Mhm.
They'll push you. And that's when I said, okay, this is awesome, man.
Mhm.
Somebody, for the first time in my life, is telling me I can do something,
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of being around people that are just, no, man, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when he says that you can do certain things, it doesn't mean that I can do everything. He's, he's allowing me to make the mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no longer somebody there to say, hold your hand and don't make that mistake. He's
Yeah.
saying, go
Yeah.
out and do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
fail a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from that point, we've stayed connected, and he'd come over, every year and for my birthday, and we'd go out and eat. And yeah, and that's where I learned all my plant names and all this
Mhm.
landscaping stuff from his wife. His wife loved gardening.
Oh, okay.
We'd spend hours out in the garden, and
Mhm.
she'd say, here, take these hostas, take these peonies, take
Yeah.
these, all these plants that she'd give me. And I'd go
Mhm.
home, and I used to landscape my whole house, but now I don't even have time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I enjoy doing.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, he's, I think, close to 80
Mhm.
now. And they've just been great,
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
people.
That's awesome. What a
Oh, yeah.
life-changing experience
Yeah,
to
it's
have.
the people. It's those people that come into your life that
Mhm.
sometimes I don't realize that it's a gift,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So
Absolutely. So it must
yeah.
be like I said, because when you're in a situation like that,
Hmm.
like you must just feel so indebted to that person that
Yeah.
you just like the only way that in your like I'm just speculating here, but the only way
Hmm.
I would think that you could repay that person in your mind is to succeed, is to
Yeah,
show
to
them
do
that
to do better.
to do better and show them that that
Hmm.
time that they invested in you
Hmm.
paid off.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're able to now um, pay it forward and help
Hmm.
other people through your knowledge on social
Right.
media and inspire others, like what more can somebody
You're
ask
right.
for? It's that domino
Hmm.
effect, right? The
Yep.
the what he saw in you, you now in turn get to see in other people,
Yeah.
and help that out. You're
Hmm.
employing other
Hmm.
all these people in different ways. You're encouraging others, like watching this past winter with some of your employees there,
Right.
taking the ladies out into the trucks
Yeah.
to plow snow and stuff,
I'm
and
not. I'm not afraid.
you're not afraid, and you're letting them
Hmm.
succeed or fail or try
Yep.
it, and you're just encouraging them
Hmm.
to go out there and do that sort of stuff
Right.
that they may not be comfortable
Yep.
trying, but you're like, hey, you're
Hmm.
going out. So it's such a cool full circle
Yeah.
story to see that the student becomes the teacher,
Right.
sort of thing, right? So I must be so proud of you for
Yeah.
having him come visit the store and seeing
Yeah.
where it's at and that
Right.
sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
um
Because I mean, you think about it. What was normal to him was I felt like it wasn't normal what he was doing. It was too
Hmm.
nice, too
Yeah,
kind,
yeah.
right? But I was talking to my wife here, like last night we were talking. I said, what we're doing, it's normal to us.
Hmm.
But when we have new people, employees or people come in, it's different. Like
Yeah, yeah,
a new world to them,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're getting to see how we run and operate,
Hmm.
you know, and it's new. But they get to, like you said, it benefit. It's everybody learns something
Yeah, yeah,
from one another.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
So, that leads me to now obviously the embroidery business and
hmm
being lawn care. It's perfect
yeah.
business to sort of complement, not only for you, but it's a way as well as not only being a very sustainable business, but it's
Mm-hmm.
something that you can then help give back to the community, because
Yep.
it's always hard finding a company that you can trust and
Right.
to do that sort of stuff. So maybe tell people more about the embroidery business,
Okay.
what's involved,
Right.
what sorts of products that you guys do, how people can get in contact with you if they want to order
Mm-hmm.
and work with you
Okay.
in that sense.
Yeah. So well, the embroidery business started out with the YouTube channel. Again, it was a problem. It was a problem. I needed swag or gear to
Hmm.
give to everybody that was asking. So then I bought, like, repeated the same scenario with the
Mm.
camera. I end up buying a $12,000 embroidery machine. Bought it, didn't know how to run it,
Yeah.
but in 3 months I figured it out.
Hmm.
And next thing you know, it turned business. And then a year or 2 years later, the gal that owns the embroidery business here in town in Jackson calls me up. She knew that I did embroidery.
Mm.
She followed me on YouTube and stuff. And she goes, "You want to buy my business?" I said, "Sure." I didn't even hesitate because I knew there was something.
Hmm.
And so we again, the negotiating
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing comes back into play. You never forget what you learned. So we went back, we made it work. We bought the business. It and Amy and I, we were struggling and stuff through the first year because we didn't know how to run. There was no systems
Yeah,
in
okay.
place, so we had to figure it out. And my wife was doing daycare at that time, and there was one employee there, and the one employee quit on us. She couldn't handle the change because there was a lot of change coming.
Okay.
Next thing you know, my wife quits daycare. She comes down full time. We weren't sure how the money was. There was no money coming in the beginning.
Hmm.
She just quit. I said, "Okay, we're gonna make this work." Next thing you know, the YouTube platform connected me with other contractors, business guys, lawn care,
Yeah.
landscaping, construction. They all placed an order or place orders for hats, shirts.
Hmm.
When we first bought it, everybody that purchased from us kept us afloat
Mm.
that last year.
Hmm.
And that's what it was. There was a little bit from the community, but it was YouTube
Yeah, yeah.
that we kept that business running. And so now we closed down our laundromat.
Yeah.
We used to have a laundromat. We closed that down because we were outgrowing the downtown area,
Hmm.
and we were either going to build or rent a spot. But one night I came in here when we still had the laundromat. I was upset because there was so much stuff laying around, garbage. I said, "I'm sick and tired of picking up after people."
Hmm.
I said, "This business, it's not lucrative.
Hmm.
It paid the bills. It paid mortgage for the place,
Yeah.
for 8-9 years." I said, "It's time for a change."
Mm.
I said, "We're gonna just rip this out, or rip everything out, take everything out, sell everything, and turn it into embroidery shop."
Hmm.
And we did. In a month. In a month, we changed this laundromat into an embroidery shop.
Yeah.
And so now we're doing full embroidery, heat transfers,
Hmm.
vinyl, screen printing, and anything that you can think of on apparels,
Yeah.
for your business and stuff. And so that's what we're doing now, full time
Hmm.
in here.
Very,
We
very
got
cool.
three. Yeah, we got my wife and two other gals in here, that help us.
Yeah.
The other two gals help me with snow as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, very cool. That's awesome. It was
so
cool to see that. transformation. I remember seeing when you first got that very first embroidery machine,
Yeah.
and you went and I think you went to like a different business, and you like got a hat done, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you went
Yeah.
to watch what they were doing,
Oh yeah.
and
I
and
went. I
and
went
asking them
to.
questions and
I
stuff.
went to the mall.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When I bought that machine, I didn't know how to run it. I said I got to figure out somebody that knows how to run it.
Hmm.
I drive 2 hours, an hour 45 to 2 hour. Um, I took a drive to a different town, and I went to the mall. I paid. I s- I went into Lids and I
Okay.
paid this lady. I said, okay, I want this hat with hustle on it. How much is it and stuff? I didn't really care,
Yeah,
to pay that amount. I wanted to learn.
yeah.
So I watched her. I recorded her too,
Mm,
doing that. And next thing you know, I picked up how she was hooping it, how she
mhm.
was doing it. Because I could have found it on YouTube, but I
Yeah,
wanted to see
yeah,
somebody
yeah, yeah. Right
do
there.
it.
Yeah.
So I went there. I spent $60, at least $60 on training just
Hmm.
for,
Yeah,
she to finish the hat.
yeah,
I
yeah.
come back. I call Lids back up. I said, hey, how much will it take for you to come over here and show me and train me? I was going to pay her to
Mhm.
do that for me because I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And she was about to
Hmm.
come over. We came up with a deal,
Yeah.
amount of money. She was going to come over, but she goes, that she called back. She goes, I can't, man. I can't. I'd love to, but I can't. So
Hmm.
then I learned it all myself again.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was just trying, you get creative. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get creative trying to ways to make it
yeah,
work.
yeah.
And so I
Yeah,
just
that's awesome. Like
honed
it
down and did
reminds
it.
me so much of things that I've done in the past
Hmm.
where I was looking at getting signage for my vehicle, vinyl
Yeah.
signs and stuff, and got a quote, and it was like I don't know at the time it was like this is like 15 years ago or something. It
Hmm.
was like 2 grand or something. And I was
Yeah.
like 2 grand, and then I was like looking online and going, I had a friend who had started a sign business years ago, and he
Hmm.
had paid like $30,000 for his little vinyl
Yeah.
cutter, and it was only
Right.
like 12 inches wide at the time. This is
Yeah.
like 25 years ago. So I was like, I wonder what, like, I'm sure in time these prices have come down. Like, what's a
Hmm.
$30,000 machine worth now, right?
Yeah.
So I looked up and I was like, oh, like you can get a machine for like $1,500.
Yeah.
I was like, why don't I just buy it myself and learn how to learn how to do it, right? Like I'm sure I'll
Right.
need signs. So that's
Yeah.
what I did. I just bought it,
Yeah.
vinyl, and just kind of learned how to do
Hmm.
it. Made tons of
Yeah.
mistakes and stuff, and it
Yeah.
served me so well over the years in different
Yeah.
aspects, and being able to letter my own trailer and
Yeah.
and, and vehicles and stuff. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
it's just that thing, right? You're just always thinking like, what can I
Hmm.
do to make it to learn,
Right.
to be more self-sufficient
Yep.
and learn and stuff. So if somebody wants
Mhm.
to order hats and shirts for their lawn care business. We're getting into
Yep.
the season. It's going to be starting pretty soon. How do people go about that? What's the process?
The
In
process, right now, we are working on a website.
Okay.
It's not launched yet, but to order right now, you can just email us at
Okay.
sales@dailyhustle.store.
Okay.
So just email. One of the girls will email right back,
Hmm.
and it's a very easy process. Um, takes, I don't know, a few minutes,
Okay.
maybe whatever length of time you need. They shoot back and forth. We give you a catalog
Hmm.
and look through the catalog, or if you know whatever you want, we can get it, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we'll send a work order through, and you just pay the work order
Okay.
bill right online or
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
email, and next thing you know, we put it in production.
Cool. So what do people need to have prepared as far as like say somebody wants their logo embroidered or something? What should they have in terms of files
File. Okay.
or that sort of stuff?
So if you want your logo embroidered on hats or whatever, just specify if you want it on a hat or stuff like that. Just send us a logo. I don't. It doesn't have. It can be anything.
Hmm.
PDF. It can be JPEG. As long
Okay.
as it's clear.
Okay.
And if it's not clear, if it's a little blurry,
Hmm.
we can still convert that for you.
Okay.
It just costs a little extra.
Yeah. Yeah. More time
Make it
involved.
clear. Yep.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Okay, cool. Is there a limit on the stitches for? Because I know some places that I've looked online before, they have
Um,
like an 11,000 stitch
No,
count or
for
something
for
like
the
that.
hats, like for the hats we do, right? For the
Yeah.
hats, there's no limit stitches on the hats.
Okay.
it just say like our Richardson hats right now, if you get a dozen, it's $15 each.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how big your logo, as
Yeah,
long
yeah,
as
yeah.
it fits on a hat, we're good.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
I ask because like the people listening to this won't be able to see, but here with the
Mm-hmm.
video version, like the shirt I'm wearing, I
Yep.
got embroidered, but
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do my actual real logo with the border, square border stuff because I had hit the stitch limit on,
Really?
yeah, because of the detail in the grass
See,
and stuff.
see,
And I'm like, so they
like that
couldn't do,
shirt,
yeah,
like that shirt, as long as it fits into our hoop,
yeah,
our
yeah,
left chest hoop, right?
yeah, yeah,
We'll do that. That's like a $15. Like for us, we'll charge you just like that.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
say you come in with the shirt. Just say
yeah,
that
yeah.
you don't buy the shirt. You come in with the shirt. $15. We'll do that for you.
Wow. That's
We
yeah, I
keep
was,
it simple, man.
yeah, yeah. So they had to keep cutting out elements and changing it around because I was like,
Really?
yeah, they couldn't do the blue sky, they couldn't do the things that are normal in my podcast logo and
Mm-hmm.
the white square outline and stuff
Okay.
because it's hitting the limit, it's hitting the stitch count.
Weird.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's a thing. I
Yeah.
guess I'll have to modify my logo to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's times that we modify logos if it's like if the logo is not vectored, or if it's not if it's an actual picture,
Yeah, yeah,
like an actual photo,
yeah, yeah.
it's hard to embroider that.
Yes, yeah,
But if just like a simple design, text and
yeah,
vectored art,
yeah, yeah,
solid colors, it's easy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Very simple that way. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cool. So, my last question for you is another one that I ask everybody, one of my absolute favorites, and that is share your best piece of advice with those just starting out a business. It could be a lawn
Mhm.
care business or anything else. But I want you to come from this at a point of view that this is somebody that you really like. This is
Mhm.
somebody that you only want to see the best for. So it's not like,
Mhm.
some random stranger coming up to you.
Right.
This is somebody that you know, and they're like, hey, Chant, I'm thinking about starting a lawn care business.
Mhm.
What can you tell me?
Mhm. Man, the one thing is that you never give up, man. No matter how many years, like just say you're starting out, when it gets tough and frustration, like there's tough times, don't give up. There's always a solution
Mm-hmm.
to move past that problem. And no matter, here's my biggest advice. Don't get in the mindset of just when you start out, right? You don't have money, you don't have
Mm-hmm.
nothing, or you have very little, right? Don't get in the mindset of not borrowing, okay?
Okay.
Don't get in the mindset of not borrowing. I've learned that from when I started,
Yeah, yeah,
when I had to borrow that $250.
yeah, yeah.
Cleaned up my credit, borrowed, got a card, Sears card, $250. I could, dude, that was like what, $20 payment, $30 payment a month or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But don't be afraid to borrow or use cash
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you start out. It's just about starting out. Do
Yes,
it.
yes. Yeah,
No
yeah.
matter how you have to do it, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's my key, is that because a lot of people get stuck because they don't have the money,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, most of the time it's not having the money
Yeah, yeah,
to get what they want,
yeah, yeah.
to start it.
That holds them back.
Yeah, it holds them back.
Yeah, yeah.
And that has never, that in the beginning, that's my first thing I did, was that I did what it took.
Yeah.
When I quit my full-time business, um, I took, it's a risk, man. No matter
Mm-hmm.
if you have money or don't have money,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a risk either way. I took my 401k out, just threw it all into my landscaping lawn care.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, who knows if I'm gonna have retired, at
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time, like retirement or anything. But I didn't care.
yeah,
I want this business to
yeah,
succeed.
yeah,
So you do whatever it
yeah,
takes. So to the guy that's just starting, do what it takes. If you got to borrow $200 to make $200 to make $400, do it.
yeah, yeah.
it's not like you're borrowing $200 to not make anything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot
You
of
know,
people get trapped in that, and I can understand, not wanting to go into debt and stuff. But
yeah,
there's a difference between borrowing money
good
to
debt and
buy
bad debt.
a flat screen TV for you to watch at home
Yep,
versus buying a tool to earn money with.
earn money.
Right. So
Exactly,
that's the difference. Is
difference.
is is
Hmm.
that is if you're investing that to make money,
Yep,
then that's a big
it's
difference.
okay.
Yeah. And there's somebody recently, I can't remember who it was, a celebrity was interviewed, and they said something about, that their goal, whatever they accomplished, like I said, I can't remember who it was,
Hmm.
but they were saying something along the lines of, somebody said, what was your plan B
Right.
in this? And they said,
There's,
he says, I only had a plan A. He
yeah,
says,
there's no plan.
yeah, he says, when you believe so strongly in your plan A,
Hmm.
you don't need a plan B,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Sort of thing, because you're going
Oh,
to do
yeah.
whatever it takes to
Yeah.
make that plan A work,
Right.
regardless of what it is. And that, part of the the journey of getting there, like that
Hmm.
is what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's not so much about the end result. It's
Exactly.
it's the process of
Hmm.
getting there.
Right. So I'm not telling whoever starts out to go out and just borrow money, right? I'm
Yeah,
not saying that. I'm saying if it's few $100,
yeah,
whatever. If
yeah,
if you know you're bringing in the money, or like
yeah, yeah,
there's work,
yeah,
if you don't have the stuff, find a way.
yeah, yeah.
Find a way to
Yeah.
get this
I
get
always
the
tell people too,
equipment.
like with the mowers and things like that, one of the mistakes I see people make is that they say,
Hmm.
I'm going to start a lawn care business. So they go out to the dealer and buy an $8,000 mower.
Hmm.
And it's
With
like,
no
with
accounts.
no accounts, it's like
Hmm.
you can buy that mower in less than 30 minutes
Yeah.
after you've signed up those
Yeah.
customers. So go out and find the customers first,
Right.
sign
Hmm.
all those customers up, and then just go to your dealer. They'll
Yeah.
take your money quick.
Oh yeah.
they'll,
It's
they'll,
not hard. It doesn't
yeah,
take long.
yeah, you
Hmm.
don't have to buy the machine first. You can
Hmm.
go line up
Yep.
those accounts first, and
Yep.
then go and thing like guys like Keith Kalfas have proved it, where they
Hmm.
said they were so down and out,
Hmm.
and he went door to door selling window cleaning
Yeah.
accounts when he first started out, that within 24 hours he had like 40 something
Yeah.
accounts before
Hmm.
he had even done anything.
Yeah.
Right. So there's
Oh yeah.
always a will
Oh yeah.
to that
If
when you
you
start.
really want it, there is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely awesome.
Definitely.
Having you on the podcast, really appreciate it. So
Yeah.
how can
Yeah.
people follow you or get a hold of you if they want to follow you online?
Yeah. So we've got our Instagram. It's Chants. Yeah. Chants underscore daily underscore hustle on
Okay.
Instagram. And then Facebook, you can, yeah, just search Chance Daily Hustle.
Okay.
We should pop up on there. And YouTube, same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Chance
Okay,
Daily Hustle.
awesome.
Hmm.
I'll have links to all of that stuff in the podcast
Yeah.
show notes. So thank you again for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Julie.
All right, awesome.